A little bit late. Hey, you guys, and welcome to the 25th episode of The Insiders on Real Estate and Marketing. I'm your host, Sandy Hibbard, and my old co-host right here, my favorite, Mr. Mark Miller.
You got the old right.
Yeah, you just had a birthday, buddy.
I did.
And you were up in Park City doing stuff.
Skiing, having a good
acting
time.
like you were 25.
Smoking a cigar,
That's
drinking a little
awesome.
whiskey. Things you should do when you get older.
Yeah, absolutely, without doubt.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have a good show today. I'm excited to learn a lot of new stuff today that I've thought about before, seen about, some of the things that I watch in my favorite shows like Yellowstone. She is the beautiful Miss Sarah Boyd of Sarah Boyd and Company, an equestrian and ranch and residential real estate firm. So I'm really super, super stoked that you're here with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you bet. So before we get into and jump into equestrian and ranch properties, Mark, give us an update on this market. What in the heck's going on?
To echo the sentiments, we need listings.
I'm tired of hearing that.
I know. It's wearing me out too.
I mean, everything you hear, you get all these emails from Inman News, NAR, Realtor.com, and they're all saying the same thing. And all of our podcasts, we're all talking about how, there's really not a lack of inventory. In fact, last January, 5 years ago, there was not as many as there are now. And it's like, how many ways, marketing-wise, can we twist this to say,
it's down.
We need listings.
We need listings. But all that being said, it's also good because we're balanced because we also have commercial.
Oh, true.
And then we have great clients like Sarah that is up there in the northern world doing her thing.
Yeah.
Which we'll
Totally different world.
Completely different world. But it's all good. I just had a board meeting with our holding company flew in. We had a board meeting in Plano, and everything went well. Got everything.
You're rocking and rolling.
Yeah. So we've opened in Frisco. What we're just talking about. We're expanding in Plano, adding another 2,000 feet up on the second floor, and we're looking to go into Princeton. Market, kind of get
taking
out
over
there.
that whole northern expansion area.
And then we're probably going to go across to the west side of McKinney.
Okay.
And open.
You've already got an office in McKinney.
I do, but I'm going to move that one to Princeton, and we're going to go across to a really cool development called Adriatica.
Oh yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And one of our clients is buying a building there, and he's moving his operations over there, a commercial client. So we'll probably take a space with him, and it's a 3-story building, and he's going to probably put his residence at the top, his business on the second,
love
and
that.
the tenants on the first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But when I drove over there, it's like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Isn't that off Stonebridge Ranch Drive?
Virginia.
Yeah.
Virginia Parkway.
Gosh, I used to work over there. I used to have a 5-mile jogging track, or route that went right by that.
Right.
When I was running, I would do that at lunchtime.
Ooh. 5 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, that's what's
Who was that girl? I don't know. I'm feeling a little crazy today.
Might be the weather.
It might be the weather. That's why my hair is trying to be all poofy. It can drive a girl nuts, I'm telling you. Well, one thing we don't have to worry about in Dallas is crashing markets. Isn't that true?
True.
Even when we had the crash in 2008, Dallas was, felt that pinch. But man, we were nothing like the rest of the country.
Look right there. That's all new development.
It's crazy.
They're filling in every little space that they can.
Yeah.
And,
but can they get them leased? I mean.
Oh yeah, there's a total pent-up demand for multifamily.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they're paying what, $3-4 a foot to lease? I don't understand.
Is it the same for commercial? I mean, you still see a lot of empty storefronts all over town.
That's actually filling back in again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think there's a segment of the commercial market that's not balanced right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's great to live in Dallas.
It is a good place.
I have a friend a longtime New Yorker, and she emailed my daughter the other day because actually they've worked together, and she said, I'm thinking about moving, and I've got 3 choices. First of all, I'm tired of New York. I'm done with it. So I'm thinking about Texas. I'm thinking about Austin, Dallas, or Houston. And we said right off the bat, oh, no, not Houston. I mean, no way. And then Austin was like, no, Dallas. And, we began to tell her about all of the reasons why someone should live in Dallas. And there are so many things: lifestyle, the economy, the jobs,
The climate.
the climate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, our climate's really mild.
Right. Or you can go a little north, a little west, or a little east, and you'll still be right in the Metroplex.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, good
it's a great
place.
place. It
Yeah.
is. Well, I'm glad to see that Secured Title is expanding all over the place like that. I want to give a shout out to Secured Title of Texas, who is our sponsor for the second season in a row, and they really are great. They've got a great team. You've got a marketing person there that can walk you through their proprietary marketing tools that are great for agents to use. You've got Mark, you've got a legal staff, you've got access to all the stuff. Probably Mark can say better what all that they have access to. But if you're looking for a title company, give them a shout over at Secured Title of Texas. So let's move on, and why don't you introduce Sarah and tell everybody about her a little
Our
bit.
special guest is Sarah Boyd, and I always love to introduce a special guest when they close with us, so that's nice. We love having her as a client.
Absolutely.
She's an equestrian. She has her own company, Sarah Boyd and Company. We were just talking about Sarah's. I want to talk a little bit more. She's just closing on a building, opening it for in Pilot Point.
Oh, wow.
And so she's moving toward that. Last year, she sold $78 million in real estate. So she's had a terrific year, and I'm sure she's going to replicate that and grow. She's also a real estate investor, developer. She works with her husband, who has Boyd Industry, Clayton Boyd. I want to hear about the helicopter, by the way.
Oh, I do too.
And she's obviously a horse owner, equestrian. She competes at that level. Committed into her community, has a wonderful family, and she's just a well-rounded individual. And I'm so excited to have her because I know I'm going to learn things today
Oh,
that I
yeah,
don't know
me
about.
too.
This
I'm stoked.
side. So why don't we just start with the simplicity of Sarah? Talk about how you went from riding horses to selling real estate.
Exactly.
Well, horses have always been a big part of my life.
And
so
are you still riding?
I am still riding, yes, and that's growing. So I grew up riding on a small farm in Iowa, rural Iowa, and so naturally when I got into real estate, selling ranch properties and horse properties fell right into place.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
No better person to contact about that than someone who has grown up in that environment.
Absolutely. And as
Understand
I've
it.
traveled as an equestrian and made those relationships with other equestrians and trainers, they're my friends, I got the opportunity to sell their ranches. And then it became a name that was looked upon and a good resource for selling ranch properties in the DFW area. And then as I grew my firm, and now I have a team of agents underneath of me, that's allowed me to be able to expand and sell ranches all over the Metroplex. And so all of my agents that are underneath of me currently actually have a past background in horses. So they either own a ranch of their own or
That's
they
true.
ride. And so I know
Real
that.
cowboys.
Yeah, exactly.
I can just visualize you walking into a potential listing and driving into a ranch like that and just feeling so comfortable.
Absolutely.
Knowing exactly what to look at as you pull in all the way till you get to the property,
Right,
to that
right.
side. But we were talking earlier, and one of the things you were sort of distinguishing as well is sort of the differences between equestrian property and ranch property, etc. Can you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So equestrian ranch properties. So you can have a cattle ranch with thousands of acres, or you can have a horse farm.
Right.
And within the horse farms, there's equestrian property is a very broad term because you'll have people that are hobbyists that just want to trail ride a couple times a year, or you have people that are trainers and they'll need to have a ranch that is a working ranch where they have clients and boarders, or you'll have somebody who has a breeding farm where all they do is breeding horses. And within those different categories, there's even further separation. You'll have different disciplines. So a reining horse will need to have, a reining horse trainer will be different than a jumper or dressage. And so unless you know those specific differences,
Which I don't. So give us a quick 101. What's a reiner?
so reining horses, like in Yellowstone, your
Yep.
favorite show,
Yep.
they showcase reiners in that movie or that TV show. They are judged on different patterns, and jumpers are. It's a whole different discipline. So for each facility that these equestrians are looking for, they'll have a different type of footing, a different type of fencing, different indoors, outdoors, size, width, everything changes dramatically from each equestrian. So you have to
Wow.
know those differences.
Yeah.
as an equestrian or a farm and ranch agent in order to be resourceful for your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then a ranch is,
A ranch, depending on if it's agriculture or cattle, those are quite different than
yeah, just some
per se
they
a
don't
horse
specialize in
farm.
horses
Yes,
necessarily.
yes.
Okay.
So,
I can
and,
see the difference.
Yeah, yep. And they may have horses on those ranches to work the cattle, or that may just be livestock and agriculture.
Because we don't see to the far north Collin County or where these properties may be, is there a large supply of people that own these type of properties in our marketplace? We just don't see them, we're not aware of because we're driving up and down LBJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sort of how
So-
do you locate them and how do you market toward them, or how do you connect, other than I would think through Equestrian for one, you're connecting with people that have properties.
So the North Texas area is known to be horse country. So our specific area is known as Horse Country USA. And it's
That's that Flower Mound area.
Flower Mound and Argyle, that's more of a jumping English discipline, and then up the 377 corridor, Pilot Point, Aubrey, Valley View, that's particularly more Western discipline. Weatherford, you have cutters and ropers,
I
but
had no idea.
yeah, so each market has a little bit of a niche within itself of what kind of rider and equestrian is there, and it's changing. We're seeing now that the prices in Argyle and Flower Mound are so expensive. We're having jumpers by farms up in Pilot Point, Collinsville, and further.
Would it not be unusual that they may, if they, for lack of the type of property they want, they might buy a quote ranch or something else and then put their own spin on it with an equestrian facility, et cetera,
Changing it,
Changing it, like you do a
absolutely,
house,
yes,
if you bought a house
yes.
and rehab it.
So when clients are looking for a residential house, they have a very specific criteria, and it's actually pretty easy to find. But when you're looking at a ranch, you have to factor in their family, their house, the location, the number of horses they have, what type of discipline. So a lot of times there will need to be changes made to that facility to make it work for their needs. And what's nice with my construction background and my family's construction background, we're able to price those needs and improvements, make sure they still fit their
right.
budget, and they can still, that property will still be useful for them after they close.
You can bring the whole package to
Yes,
them.
yes.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
tie us in on how you work with Clayton and his company and bring the helicopter into that.
Absolutely.
He's dying to know
Well,
about
kind of
the
two different things.
helicopter.
It's like three different things there.
You've got to watch
Right.
Yellowstone.
But so my husband is known for building beautiful barns, gorgeous castle-like barns. They're absolutely beautiful. We have one on our property, and so he is able to bring that factor into when I'm selling a farm. If someone wants to build a barn, he can do that for them.
Right.
Nice.
And we bounce well off each other. So if I can't find it, he can build it. That kind of thing.
Okay.
And then with the helicopter, so my husband we have a Bell 505, and he uses that for his business, but I'm lucky enough to be able to use that as well when I have clients flying in to look for ranches. Typically, to look at 3 or 4 big ranches, you're looking at a couple day long period to be able to drive out to those ranches,
Oh, yeah.
see them, get home super late. So with being able to pick them up locally at Addison Airport, we're able to take them, see 3 or 4 ranches, and we're able to have them either back on their flight to leave town or back in town, to eat dinner with their family that night. And so if someone's looking for a large investment in Texas and they want to be able to go do that and their time is limited, we're able to offer that service for our
That's
clients.
awesome.
And it's really fun. You get to see the ranches from the air, you get a better grasp of the area rather than on foot or driving around the property lines. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are most of your investors out of state people, out of country people, or Texans?
we have a good mix.
Yeah?
Good mix of all of it. I wouldn't say that there's one primarily over the other right now. I would say a lot of buyers coming in, just like in residential, from out of state, looking to buy in the Dallas area because of what we have to offer here.
Yeah, right.
So-
Very cool.
Well, you're very niche specific, so I would think that your competition out there, so to speak, would be pretty finite compared to the vast market for everybody that just sells homes to that type of thing. So how do you distinguish yourself, even with whatever that may be of competition, because people aren't necessarily educated to know how to select? How do you distinguish your firm when you're in that point of developing the relationship with somebody that may want to sell or buy?
Well, just for all the reasons that we've mentioned so far, our expertise, our experience, all of our agents at our firm are equestrians. So we have a very broad background. I've built several horse farms of my own. So we're able to take that piece and mix it in along with our marketing to make sure that our clients' properties bring top dollar, and we're targeting the right audience. That's really important. Like I said, all of horse farm is or equestrian property is a very broad term. So knowing what specific property we're selling and who the target audience is to make sure that we're presenting that property in the best light to attract that buyer.
Absolutely. So in light of that, how are you marketing a property when you list a ranch or a large equestrian property? What are the steps? How do you get the message out on such a niche product?
So on the ranches, what's really important, a lot of the ranches we sell are in these families for over 100 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
So there's more than just taking pictures and putting it on the market. This
Right.
is a story that we're trying to captivate. And so to many of our sellers and buyers, being able to captivate this story of their ranch and that legacy and being able to sell that is kind of the most important part, I would say, when selling these properties. And we maintain great relationships with top-notch photographers and videographers to make sure that we capture that story, because that's almost like shooting a mini movie. And then as far as marketing plans, like I said, making sure we target that appropriate audience. So we're not wasting our clients' time with bringing people out that may not be suited for that particular
Oh, right.
property.
Absolutely.
And then in real estate, I think in residential and ranch, it's all about your sphere, right? So making sure that you stay relative to your sphere, and so they're your resource for the type of property and niche that you're in. So I think that's really important with branding yourself and making sure you stay relative in your sphere. So with
absolutely.
me competing with the equestrian sport, that allows me to stay relative with my clients, and it's something that I love to do. So it just comes really natural to me, and it's really authentic.
Yeah, and we have talked a lot about niche marketing. And it's great to hear you say that, because in the last few episodes we've talked about how important it is. Mark always says, be forensic in working with your clients. In other words, basically know everything you can know about them. And part of being authentic as a marketer, as a realtor, as an entrepreneur, as a person who is in business, is not only just knowing about your customers, but being like your customers. I mean, I think that's so important, what you're talking about, being familiar with the market. And so whether you're in, ranch equestrian properties, or whether you're a luxury person specializing in Highland Park properties, or whether you're specializing in something else, to be that person who understands the customer. And I like what you said, you don't waste their time bringing in people that don't mesh with what that product is. I mean, I think that is the first step in marketing, whether you're a realtor or whether you're a coffee shop owner, is being that kind of authentic in your marketing and how you approach your people that you're trying to sell to. It's lovely. I love it.
What's the motivation if somebody sells one of those properties? Is there common motivation as why they're selling, and where are they going? Are they going to acquire another property of that type, or they change of lifestyle, or what do you find when because you probably have a buy opportunity, I assume.
Yes, absolutely.
Once you represent them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this year in particular, I mean, that changes from market to market, right? So I'd say this year in particular, I've had a little bit of a hard time because I've sold a lot of ranches to developers. Horse farms that are the value of the improvements the land has surpassed the value of the improvement. So a lot of those have gone in our markets that are closer to the Metroplex for high density development or a long-term hold. I've had a lot of investors this year buy ranches, and I'm just thankful that they're actually leasing them back to the horse trainers to be able to operate out of. And then my horse trainers are able to purchase land further out and do the same thing where the land's more affordable and maybe build a newer facility. So that's kind of what we're seeing in this market. As far as a lot of land and bigger ranches, it's just moving money. They're deciding to, sell that ranch and put it in another location, or it's a family that's inherited a property, and the siblings have decided that they would like to do something individually, so they are selling it as a whole.
And are most of the occasions, are those homesteaded properties? In other words, that's their primary residence, or is that a secondary?
A good mix there.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Wow.
It is.
just
It's
a whole
good.
new world.
And speaking of niche marketing, I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine. Her name is Abby Mandel, and she has a product called the Luxury Gift Envelope. And she and I met, I had just bought Lyric Marketing, 21 years ago, and she was getting involved in luxury marketing for realtors. And we got together and brainstormed this idea of a luxury gift envelope to give at closing. And so I want to give a shout out to Abby Mandel. And if you're a realtor, a business out there, and you're looking for that niche market, grassroots, Dallas closing gift, where you can sit down at the table with your client and you can hand them a luxury envelope that has, I think, up to 15 gift certificates. So there's nothing in these envelopes that you have to purchase. They're actually free gifts, and it's a really cool thing. She's got them for Dallas, Collin County, and South Lake areas. Everything's a gift. Everything is luxury. Her clients that she works with are the best restaurants in Dallas, the best florists in Dallas, and things like that. So I wanted you to write this down. Her name is Abby Mandel. It's the Luxury Gift Envelope, and the address is theluxurygiftenvelope.com. And if you can write this down really fast, her phone number is 214-404-9983. Give Abby a shout. Tell her that you heard about it from me on the Insiders. And they have products that start at $100. They have mini envelopes that start at $5 for $250. So that's kind of your price range there. And they've got a luxury group special right now where you can buy 3 luxury gift envelopes, 3 minis and 3 petites for $375. So a great idea for niche marketing closing gifts, okay? Now, I promised you earlier that we were going to talk about Instagram trends. And I'm going to just go over this really fast because we don't have enough time to go through everything. So make sure that you write down my blog, sandyhibbardcreative.com/blog. The most recent blog post is about Instagram trends that you need to pay attention to for this year. And the first thing that's on there is video. So, you got to get in a video mode, don't you, Sarah? It's like, when we're working from home as entrepreneurs, I roll out of bed, I go straight to my office. It's like, 3 steps around the corner and past the bathroom. I don't have makeup. My hair is usually up in a clip. I've got on sloppy clothes, and I'm working. If I do video, I gotta get in the mode, so I've got to get dressed, got to put on my makeup, I've got to fix my hair. And so getting in the video mode right now is essential because video is everywhere on Instagram. If you're wanting to build out your Instagram, then video is important, from reels to stories. They've now added it where you can add links in your stories, which is huge. So you can, showcase some of your property video stories on your stories on Instagram and link it off to your website,
Right.
which is really kind of brilliant. So getting in that video mode is number one I want to share with you. So if you're thinking about building out your Instagram, paying a little bit more attention, putting more time and effort, think video. The linking out from stories is huge, so be sure you write that down. Start utilizing links and using them in your stories. They don't work on the reels. You have to use them in your stories, so remember that. Single word hashtags are important, so don't go crazy with hashtags that are super long on Instagram. Instagram's not that smart, and they choose not to be that smart because their algorithms want you to scroll through hundreds of pictures. So they keep it really simple and searchable only in the content on Instagram. So use single word hashtags whenever you can. Longer microblog posts, and this is great for business people like you, Sarah, when you've got a bit of a story that you want to tell about a property. These things are showing to work really well on Instagram because younger people want to learn. This is where they're learning. This is where they're getting the information. So don't think that your caption is too long. I think there's a limit of around 2,000 words or 2,000 characters on Instagram. So utilize that when it's appropriate. So if you've got a listing, if you've got a product launch or a contest or something that you're doing that you want to share a little bit about it, feel free to do it because the microblogging works on Instagram. As we know, having one link only that goes to our website on Instagram can sometimes be limiting. So I want to encourage you to use a link company like Linktree that allows you to have multiple links via a mobile-friendly landing page. And this is all from one link that you can put in your bio that takes them to that landing page, and then they can see the leadership team, they can see the blog, they can see Top Realtor of the Month or Real Estate News, all of that on secured title rather than just going to the website. You can actually direct them on where to go. So using a link tool is really cool. There's so many more things. Let me leave you with this one thing, though, and that is your profile. Building a smart profile on Instagram is huge. You want to make sure that you're getting key search words and search terms in your bio, and you've got just a tiny little bit of space there to do that. You want to make sure that your username is also keyword rich and is appropriate to what your business is. So your username, your bio, your hashtags in that profile should all have to do with your business. That will help you be found better and faster on Instagram. So tons more I've got for you on the blog. Go to sandyhibbertcreative.com, look at the new blog post, and get all of the tips on Instagram, things that you want to incorporate in 2022. So that's a wrap. Now, I want us to talk about our 3 things. I feel like I'm going 100 miles an hour, but we had so much to get in on this show.
I'll almost yield my 3 things because I just want to make sure, Sarah, did you cover everything that you wanted to share with us? Okay, because I just want to make sure it's such a, I mean, I could sit and talk for a while longer, maybe with a cocktail, but anyhow, I'm good. I just want to make sure we got to. And then what's your website? Did we cover that?
SarahBoydandCompany.com.
That's simple. Okay.
Yeah. Well, why don't you then dive into your 3 things that you want to leave with the audience today. And since Mark has given you his time, you get a little extra time there.
All right. I think that the 3 most important things for niche marketing would be to pick a market that means something to you, something that you're authentic with. Make sure that you, and the second thing, stay relative. Make sure that you have an active involvement in that niche market. And then also find a mentor. If it's something that you want to get into, that you do love and you're authentic with, but you don't have an avenue, make sure that you find a broker or a mentor that can help guide you through that process, because that means a lot to be able to have somebody to lean onto and ask questions.
Absolutely.
And just to pitch in too, Sarah, you're with this acquisition of this building in Pilot Point, the completion of that, you're looking to expand your brokerage service, correct?
I am looking to expand,
Okay.
and we are a very small boutique firm right now, and I'm not a numbers brokerage.
Right.
We want to stay with quality service to our clients. So our agents that come onto my firm have a pretty strict interview process.
Okay. Just wanted to point that out,
But we are looking
that you're looking for expand and grow.
We're really excited to open those doors.
They kind of have to be movie stars, don't they?
Not quite. Just good people and smart.
Where that comes from is a couple of people that actually work for her team were on Yellowstone as extras, I think.
No,
Did they have
no.
actually speaking parts?
No, they weren't.
So clients of mine.
Clients.
Yeah, so clients of mine actually were on Yellowstone, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's keeping it real, girl.
It is.
It is. I would have to say my 3 things are what you said about niche marketing is, I'm going to say ditto on that. Staying relevant in the market that you're serving, being authentic, and serving a market that you're all about. Don't get into a market that you don't know nothing about. Don't get into a market that you don't really care about and you're just doing it for the money. It's not real. It's not going to be successful. So I think that is huge. And Instagram right now is hot, hot, hot. I just read from, I think it was NAR, that said the numbers from their latest report, their social media study, said that agents are falling off of Facebook and going over to Instagram. So if you're going to do that, do it right. Go check out the blog post, see what trends you need to incorporate, and be fabulous. Yeah?
Sounds like a winner to me.
See you next time, everybody. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Super to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
It